This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Mabuhay! You're watching the Business Portal, your gateway to business trends and opportunities. And I'm your host, Howell Mabalo. Good morning, you're watching the Business Portal, your gateway to business trends and opportunities. I'm your host, Howell Mabalot, with Renalyn Tan, who will be joining us later in the program. And for the first segment of GNN's The Business Portal on the Corporate World, we'll be featuring a home. That is a home for the senior residences. So we call it the RainTree Senior Care Residences. And with us is the Managing Director of RainTree Care, none other than Marc Daubenbuechel. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning. Pleasure having you here, Howard.
Good morning.
Pleasure being here.
And it's your fourth time here in our show.
Yes. Before last year, I spoke about foreign retirees visiting the Philippines, and today I'm here for a different
So
topic.
the last time you were here, you came with the foreign retirees.
That's correct.
So your market before were foreign retirees.
Yes.
So what is the what's the reason why you transitioned from marketing your care, your services to the foreigners and now to the Filipino senior citizens?
Before, when I was with the European Chamber of Commerce, my main task was to sell the product, the retirement haven, the Philippines,
So you're selling it to foreigners.
We did this together with the Department of Tourism and the Philippine Retirement Authority.
And how successful was it?
That's a good question. It's difficult to measure the numbers because we don't know how many people are really coming to permanently stay. But what brought me into changing the perspective from foreigners to looking into Filipinos was, for foreigners, you always address a want. So they want to retire in a tropical climate. They want to go to the Philippines. But we were very often approached by Filipinos that were in need of help for their parents. In need of help for care, for advice. And I thought it became more and more inquiries. And this is where I thought there is really an interesting market. And there is something where I can contribute with my knowledge.
So you were saying that a while back before the show, you were telling me that RainTree is not a nursing home, but it is a home. It's a residence for the senior citizens.
Yes. Can I ask you a question? What do you think when you hear the term nursing home?
When we hear nursing home, it's like the dead end for the old people, and people, especially in the Philippines. The mindset of Filipinos is to take care of our elders. And so once we hear the word nursing home, there's a stigma connected with it. And we thought, why wouldn't we care for elders? That's why instead of you calling it a nursing home, you call it as a home.
Yes.
It's a residence.
A senior's residence.
Senior's residence.
Because if you look at history abroad and also in the Philippines, it always starts as a place to cater to a need. There are abandoned people. Usually, very often when we ask, what do you think when you hear a nursing home? It's a place for the abandoned.
Yes.
It's run by the DSWD. It's run by church groups. But the market that we are addressing is, you have 10 million Filipinos which are living abroad.
I agree.
Who's looking after their parents? The market that we are addressing is if someone had a stroke and they're released of the hospital after 3 weeks, who's going to take care of them at home?
Usually in the Philippines, the apos or the grandchildren would take care of their grandparents while their parents are working abroad or working elsewhere. But then not everybody is fortunate enough to have a spouse or grandchildren who take care of them.
Yeah, and we focus on two things. We focus on stroke care, and we focus on dementia. And dementia and Alzheimer's is where people forget things.
Yes.
And usually what happens is you have a lot of emotional clashes at home. You have burned out syndromes in the families. So when we receive calls, usually families are very desperate. Hence I was talking about the need before. They are talking about guilt. I'm a Filipino. I cannot give my parent into a nursing home.
Does it mean they have already given up, or?
I think they have not given up. I think they are just overwhelmed.
So they're reaching out and asking for
help. This sometimes it's temporary. Can you please? We can't anymore. 3 for 6 months look after my mom. We have cases where for depression it can be a very, very difficult time. Sometimes you just need some time apart to recharge your batteries.
I agree. But in the case of dementia and Alzheimer's, it's the generation of the brain. There's no chance of recovering anymore.
No. This is also a big challenge for the nurses. Nurses here are used to acute care. They work in hospitals to make patients well. When they start working in a nursing home, we don't have patients. We have residents.
You don't call them patients. That's wonderful. You don't call them patients. You call them residents.
And nurses have the mindset, I need to make someone well.
Because there's a different set of mindset when you're a nurse in the hospital setting.
Correct.
Because you are bound to obey the instructions of the doctor. But in your case, in the residence, in the RainTree Senior Care residence,
I try to make it very short. If we have a resident moving in, our nurses do the comprehensive geriatric assessment. So they check what is wrong, how can we comfort this patient or make him feel better.
So they are in charge, they
charge.
assess, and they have the initiative to prescribe or propose things on how to care for...
Yes, they don't prescribe medicines, but they develop a care plan.
Prescribe a care plan.
And then we have doctors that basically prescribe the medicine. But the nurses develop the care plan, they implement it, they control if it's doing right.
So it's professionally run, and it is run by Filipino nurses.
Exactly.
The best in the world.
Exactly.
The best in the world. Filipino nurses are the best in the world. And so, but it sounds very expensive. How much does it cost to care for an old person in your residence?
So our rate start is 55,000 pesos per month. And
what's inclusive in that amount of 55,000?
Imagine like a 4-star hotel.
Wow, so this is not a nursing home. That's a hotel. That's a resort hotel. And
yes.
These are your facilities.
So this is a glimpse into RainTree. This is our pool where we do physical therapy.
Okay. I could clearly say that your market would be the upper class.
Yes, it is.
The upper class.
This is our director of nursing with 2 of our nurses.
And the lady in the middle is?
My mom.
Your mom, a nurse and the executive director as well.
Of the nursing home.
Of the nursing.
Correct.
Wow, nursing facility.
So, because
it's like, you know what? It's like a resort in Bohol. Where is it located?
We are located in Sucat, Muntinlupa, down by the beautiful lake.
Wow.
This is a residence room. But see, your reaction shows there is no guilt involved anymore. So families are coming to our place. They are making selfies. They are posting it publicly.
I agree. So I love the thing is guilt.
Yeah.
There's no guilt anymore. Because imagine if you are paying for that hotel accommodation for your parents, then that would be a gift.
And very often our residents, they are not always happy at the beginning when they move in. This is one of our villas. But after 1, 2, or 3 weeks, they love staying in RainTree. Imagine they are pampered, they get massages, they can use
They
the
get
pool.
massages?
Yes.
Wow. So that's inclusive in the 55,000.
There are some, for example, physical therapy is excluded because it's based on demand. But social activities, painting every day, cooking, it's all included in the package.
So let me ask you this question. I'm working abroad. For example, I am a Filipino working abroad, say earning 200,000 or 300,000, and I'm sending my kids to school. And it so happened that, for example, well, may God forbid that one of the elders in the family would need extra care, professional care. Why would I, if you would convince me, why would I be sending my elder to your facility, aside from the wonderful hotel services and the Filipino nurses that take care of them?
I think for me, I really don't try to convince, because we are not a solution. I don't see RainTree as a solution. I see us as an option for those which are really in need of care. But if I want to convince someone, I just ask, please drop by our facility, because you need to feel if we are the right place for your loved ones.
So hard selling is not your strategy?
No.
So you just ask them to come in, have a feel of the facility, and what's the batting average of them saying yes? Of the 10 people who come in? Of
the 10 people that come in, 10 people say yes.
10 people say yes. It's 100% batting average.
It is.
That's an excellent selling strategy.
But for us, see, we say, if you want your parents to move into RainTree, your parents should want to live here. We cannot accept people that don't want to live in our facility, because we are family.
So no one's forcing them to stay. They have to want to stay.
They have to want to stay. For stroke victims, it's sometimes different, because they cannot make the decision by themselves. But for stroke, we basically just help with transitional care, so they are 3 to 6 months in our facility.
And then afterwards, when they get a little better, they can transition.
They can go home if they want to, yes.
Well, the last 3 minutes of our show is called The Takeaway. If you are going to send a message to our viewers looking at the camera, so what will you tell your market segment, the upper class Filipinos?
For me, what's important is I understand that the term nursing home has a negative connotation. People always think about loneliness, abandoned, gray, dark, whatever comes up into the mind. But I think it's time that we need to rethink, because we have 7 million seniors in the Philippines, and we have 300,000 people which have any form of dementia. Who is going to look for them? And it's the same if you have children. You're not afraid to bring them to a doctor and search for help. And this is the same with the seniors. Very often we have situations where seniors are alone at home. No one is looking after them because the kids are working the entire day. Sometimes it's nice if they stay in a facility together with 10 other seniors.
I agree.
Just basically rethink if nursing homes or senior residences really need to be something negative, or if it's maybe a happy place.
I agree to that 100%. So there's no guilt in sending your elders to your care. It's a gift. Why? Because they spend the last days of their lives being well taken care of. And they can, the relatives can visit. How often can the relatives visit?
Anytime.
Anytime.
Anytime. We don't have any restrictions on visiting. Ours. Family is the best medicine.
And www.raintreecare.com for information, so that they would be setting an appointment to come to your facility, to your 4-star hotel, if I may say.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Marc, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Howard.
And don't go away. We'll be right back for more. Promise.